Welcome to the USA Coin Spot, your ultimate destination for all things related to American coinage. Whether you're an avid collector, a history enthusiast, or someone looking to invest in rare and valuable coins, this is the place for you. Explore the rich legacy of U.S. currency, from classic pieces like the Liberty Head and Morgan Dollar to modern commemorative coins. Stay informed with the latest updates on coin values, trends, and news in the numismatic world. Dive into our comprehensive resources and discover the fascinating stories behind the coins that have shaped the United States. Coin 1. In 1776, a momentous year for the United States, the birth of the nation was marked by the signing of the Declaration of Independence. While the revolutionary spirit was sweeping across the land, the foundation for something monumental was being laid in the world of currency, which would become a key part of American identity and history. Little did anyone know that more than 2 centuries later, the coinage of the United States, especially the quarter dollar with its D-mint mark, would come to represent not only the nation's progress but also a significant symbol of its economic and social evolution. The quarter dollar has a long and illustrious history, beginning in 1796 when the first official United States quarter was struck. Since then, the coin has undergone several design changes, with each one reflecting the times, the values, and the technological advancements of the period. However, the United States quarter from 1776 to 1976, particularly the versions minted in Denver, known for the D-mint mark, holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and historians alike. The journey of this iconic quarter begins with the backdrop of a new nation, one that had recently won its independence from Great Britain. The year 1776 is synonymous with the birth of freedom, and the subsequent years would be filled with efforts to establish a solid and dependable currency system. The coinage of the period reflected both the fledgling nation's ideals and the evolving economic situation. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, a transformative time in the United States, and the quarter dollar began to take on new significance. In 1932, to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday, the U.S. Mint decided to redesign the quarter. The new design was the work of sculptor John Flanagan, and it featured a detailed portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States. This new coin design would go on to become one of the most enduring and recognizable symbols of American history. By 1975, the nation was gearing up to celebrate its bicentennial. It was a time of great pride and reflection as Americans looked back on the past 2 centuries of progress and change. The 1976 quarter dollar was introduced as part of the nationwide celebrations. This quarter, while still featuring George Washington on the obverse, sported a dramatic new design on the reverse, a striking depiction of the Liberty Bell and the moon's silhouette, commemorating both the nation's 200th birthday and the success of the Apollo space missions. The 1976 bicentennial quarters were minted with a special dual date of 1776 to 1976. For the first time in history, the U.S. Mint produced special coinage to mark this important milestone. These bicentennial quarters were minted in large numbers, both for circulation and as collector's items, making them a defining feature of the era. The Denver Mint, represented by the D-mint mark on the coins, played an essential role in this era of coin production. Minted in Denver, the 1976 D-mint mark bicentennial quarter would go on to be one of the most widely circulated and highly sought-after versions by collectors. The D-mint mark signifies that these quarters were produced at the Denver Mint, one of the key facilities where coin production was centralized during this time. The role of the Denver Mint in the production of these coins cannot be understated. Its quality control and efficiency helped ensure that these bicentennial quarters would be a cornerstone in the collection world for years to come. Collectors around the world began to take notice of the 1776 to 1976 quarter, and with good reason. In addition to its patriotic symbolism and unique design, the coins minting in such vast numbers made it a readily accessible collectible. The bicentennial quarter marked a convergence of historical reflection and numismatic interest, as it commemorated both the nation's independence and its progress toward the future. Over the decades, the 1976 D-mint mark quarter has remained a staple of coin collections. For the modern collector, Its appeal lies in both its historical significance and the beauty of its design. The front features George Washington in profile, while the reverse showcases the powerful imagery of the Liberty Bell, with the moon behind it, a fitting representation of the American spirit of exploration and freedom. As the years have passed, the value of these quarters has fluctuated based on their condition, rarity, and the presence of any special features, such as unique minting errors. While the 1976 D-Mint Mark quarter is not considered an extremely rare coin, certain variations can fetch impressive prices at auction. For example, quarters with particular flaws in their design, or those that have been struck in higher than usual grades, can command significant premiums in the marketplace. What makes these coins particularly interesting to collectors is the combination of history, design, and scarcity. While many may have been circulated extensively, finding them in pristine condition, uncirculated, or even in a high grade, can make them quite valuable. For collectors who are passionate about American numismatics, this quarter offers both a connection to the past and the possibility of adding a rare, valuable item to their collection. Some versions of the 1976 quarter have been sold for thousands of dollars, especially when they are graded as being in excellent condition or if they possess unique characteristics. As with all collectibles, the price can vary significantly based on the rarity of the coin and the demand from collectors at any given time. As a result, the value of the 1976 D-Mint Mark quarter remains a fascinating subject for those who are deep into the world of numismatics. But beyond the dollar signs and the rarity of specific coins, the true value of these quarters lies in their connection to the United States itself. Each coin is a small piece of American history, a representation of the country's resilience, achievements, and growth over 2 centuries. The 1776 to 1976 quarter, with its special D-Mint mark, encapsulates both the pride and the promise of a nation that was still very much in the process of defining its identity. In a way, the 1976 D-Mint mark quarter tells the story of America, a country that began with a revolution and, over time, emerged as a global superpower. It represents the struggles, victories, and milestones that have shaped the United States into the nation it is today. And just as the coin has been passed down from one generation to the next, it serves as a reminder that the United States story is one of both triumph and continuous evolution. Looking ahead, as new generations of collectors and history enthusiasts continue to unearth and appreciate the stories behind coins like the 1776 to 1976 quarter, their value, both monetary and sentimental, will only grow. Each coin is a tangible piece of the American past, a relic that connects the past with the present and inspires future generations to keep exploring the rich and diverse history of the United States. In conclusion, the United States 1776 to 1976 quarter with the D-Mint mark is more than just a piece of currency. It's a symbol of freedom, history, and the American spirit. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a beginner just starting your collection, this coin holds a place of honor in the hearts of all who appreciate its historical significance and its enduring legacy. So, if you happen upon one in your pocket change, remember that you're holding a piece of history, one that tells the incredible story of a young nation that became one of the most powerful and influential in the world. Coin 2. The United States has a long history of coinage that reflects the nation's growth, challenges, and triumphs. Among the many coins produced throughout American history, the 1967 quarter dollar stands out for its unique historical context and significant place in numismatic history. In 1967, the United States was in the midst of a rapidly changing landscape. The country was dealing with the tensions of the Cold War, the Civil Rights Movement, and a growing push for social change. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was tasked with continuing the important work of producing currency that not only represented the nation's economic vitality but also its values, history, and culture. The 1967 quarter dollar, particularly the version minted at the Denver Mint with the D-Mint mark, stands as a symbol of that era. To fully appreciate the significance of this coin, we need to explore its design, its production process, and the ways in which it resonates with collectors today. Understanding the historical context behind the 1967 quarter is crucial to recognizing its place in the broader narrative of American coinage and numismatics. In the years leading up to 1967, the United States had experienced dramatic social, political, and economic changes. The 1960s were a time of cultural upheaval, marked by the Civil Rights Movement, the Vietnam War, and a rise in countercultural movements. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint continued its work of producing coins that would be used daily by millions of Americans, yet few could predict that some of the coins produced during this time would become valuable collector's items in the future. The quarter dollar, in particular, had undergone several design changes over the years. In 1932, the United States Mint had introduced a new design featuring the profile of George Washington, the nation's first president. The design, created by artist John Flanagan, was meant to honor Washington's legacy, and it quickly became one of the most iconic images on U.S. coinage. Over the following decades, this design remained largely unchanged, with minor alterations to the reverse of the coin. However, by the mid-1960s, the design was beginning to show its age, and the Mint began considering ways to freshen up the look of the nation's coinage. The 1967 quarter would be part of a unique period in the history of U.S. coinage. The coin still featured the beloved portrait of George Washington on the obverse, but in 1965, the Mint had made a significant decision to reduce the silver content of many U.S. coins, including the quarter. Previously, the quarter had been composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, but with rising silver prices and a desire to reduce production costs, the Mint changed the composition to 75% copper and 25% nickel for coins minted after 1964. This change was a significant shift for American currency, as it marked the end of an era of silver coinage. The 1967 quarter dollar, minted with the reduced silver content, is part of this transition. This shift in material composition is one of the key features that make the 1967 quarter notable in the history of American coinage. Despite the change in composition, the design of the coin remained consistent, with George Washington's image gracing the obverse. On the reverse side, the traditional eagle and the inscriptions, United States of America, e pluribus unum, and quarter dollar, continued to be featured, reinforcing the symbolic connection between the coin and the nation's heritage. The 1967 quarter's minting at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D Mint mark, also adds to its significance. The Denver Mint has long been one of the most important facilities for coin production in the United States, and the D Mint mark is a symbol of quality and consistency. Coins minted at the Denver facility were produced with great attention to detail, and the D Mint mark became a sought-after feature for collectors looking to complete their sets of coins from different mints. For collectors, the 1967 quarter dollar represents an intriguing combination of historical context, design, and rarity. While the coin was produced in relatively high quantities, there are still specific variations that can make certain 1967 quarters particularly valuable. For example, coins with unique errors, such as misstrikes or die cracks, are highly sought after by collectors who specialize in minting errors. Additionally, coins in mint state, meaning they have never been circulated and retain their original luster, are much more valuable than those that have been used in everyday transactions. Despite the relatively low demand for the standard 1967 quarter in comparison to rarer coins, collectors still appreciate the coin for its connection to a pivotal time in American history. The late 1960s were a period of great change, and the 1967 quarter serves as a tangible representation of that era. For numismatists, coins like the 1967 quarter offer a glimpse into a unique time in the United States, a time when the country was grappling with its identity, facing global challenges, and evolving in ways that would shape the future. Moreover, the 1967 quarter is often valued for its relatively affordable price point, especially when compared to other coins from the 1960s. For beginning collectors, the 1967 quarter offers an accessible entry point into the world of numismatics. While not as rare as some other coins from the same era, it holds sentimental and historical value, making it an attractive choice for those looking to start their coin collection with an iconic piece of American history. As for the value of the 1967 quarter, it largely depends on its condition, minting variations, and market demand. While the standard 1967 D-mint mark quarter typically holds a value close to its face value, quarters that have been well preserved or that exhibit unique features can fetch higher prices. Coins in near mint or mint state condition, especially those that show little to no signs of wear, are often valued at a premium by collectors. One of the key factors that influenced the value of the 1967 quarter is its place in the broader context of U.S. coinage. While it may not have the same immediate appeal as coins with major historical milestones like the 1776 to 1976 Bicentennial quarter, the 1967 quarter still plays an important role in the history of American currency. For collectors, the coin is a bridge between the silver-heavy past and the more modern, copper-nickel coins that would dominate the American economy in the following decades. Its transition from silver to base metals reflects the economic realities of the time and the practical needs of a rapidly evolving nation. The 1967 quarter also has an enduring appeal for those interested in the broader history of U.S. coinage. During the late 1960s, the Mint was experimenting with new ways to modernize and streamline the production of coins, and the 1967 quarter reflects that effort. As the Mint continued to explore new techniques and materials, coins like the 1967 quarter marked a shift in the way Americans interacted with their currency. This period also saw a growing awareness of the importance of coin collecting, as Americans began to realize that their everyday currency could hold value beyond its face value, particularly as the world became more connected and global markets grew. In conclusion, the 1967 quarter dollar with the D-mint mark holds a unique place in the history of American coinage. It reflects a time of change and transformation for the United States, both in terms of its currency and its social and political landscape. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual enthusiast, the 1967 quarter offers a fascinating glimpse into a pivotal moment in American history. Its design, its minting process, and its place in the broader narrative of U.S. coinage make it a valuable piece for any collection, and its connection to the social and economic shifts of the 1960s ensures its lasting appeal. For those who appreciate the beauty of coins and the stories they tell, the 1967 quarter remains a testament to the rich and evolving history of the United States. Coin 3. The 1977 quarter dollar, minted with the D-mint mark, might seem like just another coin produced for circulation during the 1970s. However, like all pieces of currency, it tells a story of a country in transition, of economic shifts, and of a coinage system designed to represent not just the values of a nation, but its identity. When we hold the 1977 quarter in our hands, we are holding a piece of the past, one that links us to a particular moment in American history. To fully appreciate the significance of this coin, it's important to explore its historical context, its design, the minting process, and ultimately, what makes it appealing to collectors and enthusiasts today. In 1977, the United States was in the midst of significant social, political, and economic change. The country had emerged from the turbulence of the 1960s and early 1970s, decades marked by the Civil Rights Movement, the Vietnam War, and the Watergate scandal. While these events shaped the national psyche, the 1970s were a time of both reflection and reinvention. The economy was facing inflation and energy crises, while the U.S. was also becoming more globally integrated, especially in the wake of the Cold War. These changes and challenges found their way into the nation's currency, including the quarter dollar, which continued to evolve as a symbol of America's resilience and ambition. The quarter dollar in 1977 still bore the same design that had been in place since 1932. This design, created by artist John Flanagan, featured a bust of George Washington, the nation's first president, on the obverse. The reverse, for much of the 20th century, displayed an eagle with its wings outstretched, clutching an olive branch and arrows, symbols of peace and strength. This classical design had become a hallmark of U.S. coinage, but as the country continued to modernize, there were murmurs of change in the air. The 1977 quarter would be a part of this backdrop of potential transformation, as it was minted at a time when the U.S. Mint was still grappling with how to balance tradition with progress in a rapidly changing world. One of the defining features of U.S. coinage in the 1970s was the shift away from the use of silver in most of the nation's circulating coins. While earlier quarters were made of 90% silver, by 1965, the United States had begun the transition to using a copper-nickel composition. This change was in response to the rising cost of silver, and it was part of a broader strategy to reduce the cost of coin production. The 1977 quarter, like its immediate predecessors, was made of an alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel, making it much less expensive to produce while still maintaining the durability and strength needed for coins that would circulate widely. This shift in material composition didn't affect the overall appearance or the symbolism of the quarter. George Washington's portrait continued to grace the obverse, symbolizing the nation's founding principles and its enduring values of liberty and democracy. The reverse, featuring the eagle, retained its position as a symbol of American strength, unity, and the country's commitment to peace, even as it stood ready to defend its interests. In terms of its minting details, the 1977 quarter was produced at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D Mint mark, which was placed just to the right of Washington's neck on the obverse. The Denver Mint had been one of the key facilities for coin production since its founding in 1906, and by the 1970s, it was a vital part of the U.S. Mint's operations. The D Mint mark signified that the quarter was struck in Denver, distinguishing it from quarters produced at other mints, like the Philadelphia Mint, which did not have a mint mark, or the San Francisco Mint, which would occasionally produce proof versions of certain coins. The 1977 quarter, along with its counterparts from other mints, was struck in large quantities. Millions of coins were minted to meet the demand for circulating currency. As with any coin produced in such high numbers, the 1977 quarter wasn't immediately seen as a particularly rare or valuable piece. However, it is precisely because of the mass production of these coins that they became so accessible to everyday Americans, who would carry them in their pockets, use them in transactions, and ultimately pass them down through generations. For collectors, the 1977 quarter offers a fascinating glimpse into a period of American history that was both reflective and forward-looking. While the coin was not minted as part of a special commemorative series, it still holds appeal for numismatists who appreciate the broader context of American coinage. The 1970s were a time of both continuity and change in the United States, and the 1977 quarter, with its traditional design, served as a reassuring symbol of stability during a period of economic and political uncertainty. The appeal of the 1977 quarter for collectors also stems from the durability of the coin itself. Coins minted in the 1970s, like those produced in earlier decades, were designed to withstand wear and tear from daily circulation. This durability makes the 1977 quarter a popular choice for coin collectors, especially for those seeking examples in higher grades. A quarter in mint condition, free from scratches, dings, and discoloration, can be a prized addition to a collection, as these coins have stood the test of time and remain in excellent condition. As for the value of the 1977 quarter, it is important to note that the coin's worth largely depends on its condition and rarity. In terms of face value, the 1977 quarter is worth just 25 cents, no more, no less. However, when it comes to the world of numismatics, the condition of the coin plays a pivotal role in determining its value. A 1977 quarter that has been well preserved, without any signs of heavy wear, can fetch a premium price at auction, especially if it is graded as being in mint state or near mint condition. Coins that are graded higher on the scale, such as those that are in uncirculated condition, are often more desirable and can command higher prices. For the casual collector or someone just starting out in the world of numismatics, the 1977 quarter may not initially seem like an especially valuable find. However, for collectors who specialize in certain types of coins, such as those from specific years or mints, the 1977 quarter can hold considerable appeal. Additionally, certain minting errors, such as misstrikes or double die features, can increase the rarity of a coin, making it even more valuable to collectors. These kinds of errors, while not common, add an element of intrigue to the 1977 quarter and keep collectors constantly on the lookout for hidden treasures within their collections. The value of the 1977 quarter can also be affected by its role in broader trends within the numismatic world. For instance, certain coins from the 1970s are highly sought after due to their connections to historical events, such as the Bicentennial celebrations in 1976. While the 1977 quarter itself is not part of the Bicentennial series, the social and political climate of the late 1970s still plays a role in shaping the perception of the coin. Collectors may seek out coins from this period because they represent an era of American history that is rich with social change, economic challenges, and technological advancements. In conclusion, the 1977 quarter dollar minted with the D mint mark is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history. While it may not be as rare or valuable as some other coins, it still holds a special place for collectors and enthusiasts who appreciate its connection to a specific time in American history. The quarter's design, with its enduring image of George Washington and the eagle on the reverse, serves as a reminder of the nation's resilience and continuity, even in times of change. As we continue to collect and study these coins, the 1977 quarter remains a tangible link to a crucial era in the story of the United States, a small piece of history that continues to captivate collectors and inspire new generations to explore the rich world of American coinage. Coin 4. The 1980 United States quarter dollar, particularly the D mint mark version, is not just a piece of currency. It's a historical artifact with an intriguing story to tell. As we take a deep dive into this coin, we'll explore its significance in the broader context of American history, the changes in coin design, the minting process, its appeal to collectors, and how it holds its place in today's market. Buckle up for a fascinating journey through time as we unravel the story behind the 1980 quarter dollar. In 1980, America found itself at a crossroads, transitioning from the idealistic post-Vietnam War era into the complexities of the 1980s. The country was in the midst of economic struggles, grappling with high inflation, energy crises, and political shifts. But amidst these turbulent times, the design of a simple coin would continue to serve as a silent witness to the ongoing narrative of American life. The 1980 quarter was one of the most familiar denominations in circulation, yet its history and the details surrounding its minting process are often overlooked. The quarter, which had been in use since the late 18th century, had undergone several design changes over the years. The most iconic of these designs is the Washington quarter, which first debuted in 1932, marking the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The coin featured a profile of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, an image symbolizing strength and freedom. Over the years, this design would be modified, but it remained a constant reminder of the country's roots and its founding fathers. By 1980, the Washington quarter had become a fixture in daily life. The year marked a continuation of the design introduced in 1932, with a few subtle updates over the years, but the most notable change during this period occurred in the minting process. The United States Mint was dealing with economic pressures that led to changes in how coins were produced. The mint was modernizing, and the minting of the 1980 quarter was more refined than ever, with new machinery and techniques ensuring the coins were both durable and precise. The D mint mark found on the 1980 quarter is particularly noteworthy. The D mark indicates that the coin was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the country's most important coin production facilities. The mint had been in operation since 1906, and its role in the production of U.S. currency had solidified it as a major player in the American economy. The Denver Mint was responsible for minting billions of coins each year, and the 1980 quarter was no exception. The D mint mark was not just a symbol of where the coin was made, but also an indicator of the coin's importance in the context of American currency. The reverse of the 1980 quarter remained unchanged from the previous decades, showing an eagle in flight with its wings spread wide. This eagle, perched on a bundle of arrows and olive branches, symbolizes the nation's power and peacekeeping role in the world. This design, although first used in 1932, continued to resonate with Americans in 1980. Despite the country's economic hardships, the eagle's image was a reminder of the strength, resilience, and hope that America continued to embody. Now, let's talk about the technical aspects of the coin. The 1980 quarter had a composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, which gave it the durability required for daily circulation. The weight of the coin was 5.67 grams, and its diameter was 24.3 millimeters. This standard quarter, which had been produced in the same way for many years, was a practical piece of currency that people across the country relied on. However, despite its mundane presence in day-to-day transactions, the 1980 quarter holds an interesting place in the world of numismatics. When it comes to the collector market, the 1980 quarter is often overlooked by casual observers. After all, it was produced in relatively large quantities, and coins from this era are still easily accessible in everyday change. However, the 1980 quarter holds a special place for certain collectors. The D-mint mark version, in particular, is of interest to those who seek out coins with specific mint marks. Though not considered rare, coins from the Denver Mint often attract attention due to the lower production numbers compared to other mints, such as the Philadelphia Mint. The 1980 quarter isn't a coin that will fetch an enormous sum, but it does have its value. For collectors, the coin represents a unique period in American history, and those who are passionate about the Washington Quarter series may want to add this piece to their collection. In its most common circulated condition, the coin is worth just its face value, 25 cents. However, in uncirculated or mint state condition, its value can rise significantly. A coin that is in pristine, uncirculated condition can be worth several dollars, depending on the market and demand at the time. Moreover, there are certain factors that can increase the coin's value in the eyes of collectors. For example, a coin that has been well preserved and graded highly by professional numismatic services, like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, can fetch a premium. Coins with errors or unique characteristics, such as die cracks or misprints, can also be more valuable to collectors, as these coins are more rare and harder to come by. In addition to being a collector's item, the 1980 quarter also holds historical significance. The year 1980 was a pivotal time in the United States. It was the final year of Jimmy Carter's presidency, and the nation was grappling with a volatile political climate, an energy crisis, and the ongoing Cold War. The quarter, circulating alongside the dollar bills in the pockets of everyday Americans, served as a small but meaningful marker of the times. The quarter's design, with its portrait of George Washington and its iconic eagle, reminded Americans of the founding ideals of their nation, even during a time of economic and social upheaval. As we look at the modern context, the 1980 quarter has become a symbol of both nostalgia and value. For those who remember the 1980s, the coin serves as a link to the past, evoking memories of a time when quarters were used for phone calls, tolls, and vending machines. Today, it's a relic of a simpler time, before the digital age and before the country's economy underwent significant changes. It's also a reminder of the role that coins play in connecting us to history, culture, and national identity. The 1980 quarter may not be the most famous or valuable coin in the United States history, but it's a piece of Americana that carries with it a deep connection to the past. For collectors, the coin is a tangible link to a pivotal year in U.S. history. For the casual observer, it's simply a coin that once jingled in pockets and passed hands during daily exchanges. Yet, regardless of its modest value in the grand scheme of numismatics, the 1980 quarter remains a lasting testament to the endurance and timelessness of American currency. Now, as we close our journey through the history of the 1980 United States quarter dollar, we reflect on the coin's enduring legacy. Despite the many changes in America's economy and culture since the 1980s, the quarter, with its iconic design and its link to George Washington, continues to represent the spirit of the nation. For collectors, it remains a cherished piece of American history, and for everyday citizens, it stands as a symbol of a time when a simple coin could represent much more than just its face value. So, The next time you hold a 1980 quarter in your hand, take a moment to appreciate its historical significance. Remember that it's more than just a coin, it's a piece of the story of America, carrying with it the echoes of the past and the promise of the future. Text box or paste your own text here. Try different languages and voices. Change the speed and the pitch of the voice. You can even tweak the SSML, speech synthesis markup language, to control how the different sections of the text sound. Click on SSML above to give it a try. Enjoy using text-to-speech. Coin 5. The 1984 United States quarter dollar, particularly the version minted at the Denver Mint with the D Mint mark, stands as a fascinating piece of history in the world of American numismatics. While it may seem like just another coin from the era, it's much more than that. For collectors, history enthusiasts, and anyone with an eye for American heritage, this quarter has a rich story that ties into the fabric of the nation's changing times, its coinage, and its economic landscape. Let's rewind to the early 1980s. The United States was emerging from a period marked by economic struggles. Inflation, unemployment, and high interest rates were major concerns. The country was also dealing with the lingering effects of the energy crisis and political tensions globally. Yet, despite these challenges, America was moving forward into a new era, one where the economy would begin to grow again and where technology and industry were shifting the landscape in ways no one could fully anticipate. The year 1984 itself holds a special place in American history. On the political front, President Ronald Reagan was re-elected, ushering in a renewed sense of optimism and a sharp shift in the nation's policies. This was a year of change, not just in the government, but in the very way Americans were thinking about their place in the world. The 1984 quarter dollar, circulating at the same time as this national transformation, carried the stories of that pivotal moment. For the quarter itself, however, the story began much earlier. The Washington quarter design, which the 1984 coin follows, first debuted in 1932 to mark George Washington's 200th birthday. The obverse, featuring Washington's portrait, became a symbol of American strength and unity. Over the years, this design remained largely unchanged, even as the country evolved in countless ways. What remained constant was the reverence for the nation's first president, who symbolized ideals of liberty, leadership, and service. By 1984, the design of the Washington quarter was well established. It featured George Washington in profile on the obverse, surrounded by the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year of minting. The reverse of the coin, showing an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, was an enduring symbol of strength, peace, and the nation's role as a defender of freedom. While the coin's design was not unique to 1984, this quarter, minted at a time when the country was on the cusp of the modern age, carried with it an enduring connection to the nation's past. Now, let's talk about the specifics of the 1984 quarter dollar minted at the Denver Mint. The minting process was streamlined and efficient in the early 1980s. At the time, the United States Mint was utilizing modern machinery to produce coins with precision and consistency. The minting process at the Denver Mint, marked by the D Mint mark on the obverse, was no different. The Denver Mint had a rich history, having been established in 1906, and its role in coin production was critical. It would go on to produce billions of coins each year, and the 1984 quarter was one of them. The 1984 quarter was minted from a blend of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, creating a durable and cost-effective coin that could withstand years of circulation. The weight of the quarter was 5.67 grams, and its diameter measured 24.3 millimeters. These proportions had remained the same for decades, ensuring that the quarter was easy to handle and stack in mass quantities. While its production methods were advanced for the time, the basic structure of the coin had remained unchanged for much of the century. For many collectors, the 1984 quarter might not stand out at first glance. It wasn't part of a special commemorative series, and its design was a continuation of a well-established tradition. But that's part of the charm of this particular coin. It is a symbol of continuity in a time of change. And while most people use the coin for everyday transactions, the 1984 quarter carries significant value for those who are keen on understanding the history behind every coin. The Denver Mint's D Mint mark is a crucial feature for collectors. The Denver Mint was one of the main production facilities in the United States, and its output played a pivotal role in the nation's currency system. Coins with the D Mint mark are highly sought after by collectors because they were minted in different quantities than those produced at the Philadelphia Mint. While most quarters of 1984 were minted in large numbers, the D Mint mark version adds a layer of interest for those who focus on coins with specific minting marks and production histories. So, what makes the 1984 quarter dollar a worthwhile addition to a collector's collection? For one, the year 1984 itself is notable in U.S. history, and collectors often seek out coins that were produced in significant years. The coin also fits within the larger context of the Washington Quarter series, which holds a place of great esteem in the world of American coin collecting. For those focusing on mint marks, having a full set of Washington quarters from the various mints, including the 1984 D version, is an appealing goal. Value-wise, the 1984 quarter dollar remains relatively modest in terms of market price, especially when compared to rarer coins from earlier or later years. In its everyday, circulated form, it holds only its face value, 25 cents. However, this doesn't tell the full story. In uncirculated or mint state conditions, the coin's value can increase significantly. A coin that has been preserved in mint condition can fetch several dollars depending on the demand at the time, and if it is graded highly by professional numismatic services, such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, the coin can be worth even more. There are also specific characteristics that can make the coin more valuable to collectors. A quarter with a rare error or a unique feature, such as a double die or misprint, can be worth much more than an unblemished, standard coin. Coins with these imperfections are highly sought after by collectors, as they are much harder to find. Error coins like these are fascinating because they stand out from the norm and add an element of rarity and intrigue to the collection. For collectors of Washington quarters, the 1984 coin offers an interesting link in the series. It serves as a tangible piece of history from a time when the nation was beginning to embrace a new era. The Reagan years were marked by both economic growth and political stability, and the 1984 quarter, like other coins from this period, represents the optimism and challenges of those times. The quarter's simple yet meaningful design encapsulates the enduring nature of American ideals, even as the nation moved forward into the complexities of the 1980s. In addition to its appeal to collectors, the 1984 quarter has cultural significance. While it's easy to overlook a coin in circulation, the quarter has long been a symbol of everyday life in the United States. Whether it was used for small purchases, tolls, or saved in coin jars, the quarter played an important role in the daily activities of millions of Americans. And as we look back on the 1984 quarter, it evokes memories of a time when quarters were used in payphones, vending machines, and laundromats, long before the digital payment methods of today took over. Despite being a coin that millions of people handled during their daily lives, the 1984 quarter carries a quiet power. It tells the story of a specific moment in time when the country was shifting toward the future. The quarter's design, with George Washington standing as a symbol of continuity and strength, reminds us of the past even as the nation changed around it. As we conclude our exploration of the 1984 quarter dollar, it's clear that this coin holds more than just its face value. For collectors, it's a piece of history, a symbol of the 1980s, and a valuable addition to a collection of Washington quarters. For the casual observer, it's a reminder of the everyday moments when coins like these were exchanged between hands, continuing to serve as currency in a rapidly evolving society. No matter how you look at it, the 1984 quarter dollar is a coin that offers both historical depth and a tangible connection to the American experience. Coin 6. The 1998 United States quarter dollar, specifically the one bearing the D Mint mark from the Denver Mint, is a coin that might seem ordinary to the casual observer. However, beneath the surface lies a rich story that speaks to the evolution of American coinage, the historical context of the time, and the value it holds for collectors today. As we venture into the depths of its history, design, minting details, and significance, we'll uncover just why this seemingly simple quarter holds such importance. Let's begin by setting the stage for 1998. The United States was in the midst of a period of economic prosperity and political stability. The country was experiencing a strong economy, often referred to as the dot-com boom, thanks to the rise of the internet and technology companies. In fact, the 1990s are often seen as a time of economic growth, with low unemployment and a booming stock market. It was also an era of cultural change, as the internet was reshaping how people communicated, shopped, and consumed media. President Bill Clinton was in office, overseeing a period of relative peace and prosperity. At the same time, the coinage of the United States was evolving. While the design of the Washington quarter had remained unchanged for decades, 1998 marked a special year in the history of American currency. The United States Mint was preparing for the launch of the 50-state quarters program, a series that would eventually become one of the most successful and beloved coin programs in U.S. history. However, in 1998, the quarter still featured the classic Washington design, making it an important link between the past and the future of American coinage. The Washington quarter itself, which had been in circulation since 1932, was a symbol of the nation's founding ideals. The design, featuring a profile of George Washington on the obverse, was a tribute to the first president of the United States. Over the years, the design remained largely the same, except for a few modifications to the inscriptions and the use of different reverse designs. The Washington quarter became an enduring icon of American currency, with its timeless design evoking the strength and leadership of Washington himself. For the 1998 quarter, the reverse side of the coin retained the traditional design, showing the American bald eagle, perched on a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, a powerful symbol of the nation's strength, courage, and commitment to peace. This design had been used on the quarter since 1932, and it served as a reminder of the country's values, even as it navigated the complexities of the late 20th century. However, beneath the surface of this familiar design, the 1998 quarter was far from ordinary. As with most coins, the 1998 quarter had a standard composition made from 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, which had been the norm for U.S. quarters since the 1960s. The weight of the coin was 5.67 grams, and its diameter measured 24.3 millimeters. These specifications had been consistent for decades, ensuring that the quarter was durable and could stand up to the rigors of everyday circulation. Despite the advancements in minting technology, the basic structure of the coin remained the same, as the U.S. Mint had perfected the design and the materials used in the quarter's production. Now, let's focus on the minting of the 1998 quarter with the D Mint mark. The D Mint mark indicates that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, which has a long and storied history in the production of U.S. coinage. Established in 1906, the Denver Mint was responsible for minting billions of coins each year, serving as one of the nation's primary coin production facilities. During the 1990s, the Denver Mint was equipped with cutting-edge technology that allowed for the precise and efficient minting of coins, including the 1998 quarter. The Denver Mint's role in minting the 1998 quarter is significant because the D Mint mark is often seen as a key feature for collectors. The Mint's production numbers varied from year to year, and the Denver Mint often produced fewer quarters than the Philadelphia Mint, making the D version of the 1998 quarter a coveted piece for those seeking to complete their collections with specific mint marks. To the untrained eye, a 1998 quarter may appear similar to any other coin in circulation. But for those who understand the nuances of coin collecting, this quarter holds a special place. The D Mint mark adds a layer of intrigue, as collectors seek out coins produced at particular mints in specific years. The 1998 quarter with the D Mint mark was no exception. While it may not be rare in the traditional sense, it carries value for those who appreciate the details of coin production and the history of American currency. From a collector's perspective, the 1998 quarter holds both sentimental and practical appeal. For one, it was part of the last few years before the launch of the 50-state quarters program, which would radically alter the design landscape of U.S. quarters for the next decade. The 1998 quarter, along with others from this time, represents the last phase of the classic Washington quarter design before the United States Mint began producing state-themed quarters. As such, for collectors of Washington quarters, the 1998 coin is an important part of the series, marking the tail end of an era. The 1998 quarter also holds value due to its place in the broader context of 1990s history. For many people, coins from this time period evoke memories of a more analog age, before the ubiquity of smartphones and the internet reshaped daily life. It's a coin that reminds us of a simpler time, when quarters were used to pay for phone calls, tolls, and vending machines, and when pocket change was still an essential part of the everyday experience. When it comes to the market value of the 1998 quarter, it's important to understand that, in general, quarters produced during this time are not considered rare, especially in circulation. The 1998 quarter with the D mint mark is relatively easy to find in everyday change. In its average circulated condition, it holds only its face value, 25 cents. However, like many coins, its value increases in uncirculated or mint state condition. Coins that are well preserved and have been carefully stored can command a higher price, with some fetching several dollars, depending on the demand and the grade assigned by professional numismatic services, such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. The value of a 1998 quarter with a D mint mark may also be influenced by its overall availability and the collector interest at the time. In addition, coins with errors or unique features are always more desirable to collectors. For example, a 1998 quarter with a rare minting error, such as a double die or misstrike, can dramatically increase in value. These error coins are prized for their rarity and the story they tell about the minting process. As such, the 1998 quarter, while not particularly valuable in most cases, could be worth much more if it features an interesting or unusual characteristic. Over the years, quarters like the 1998 D mint mark have gained a certain nostalgic value, especially for those who grew up in the 1990s. As time passes and the world continues to evolve, coins like these offer a tangible link to a bygone era, a time when quarters were still a primary form of currency for small transactions. While digital payments are now the norm, the 1998 quarter remains a symbol of the times, a relic from an age before the rise of smartphones and online shopping. For numismatists, or coin collectors, the 1998 quarter holds historical and aesthetic significance. The coin's design is timeless, and its production history adds an extra layer of intrigue. The D mint mark, while not making the quarter rare by itself, adds a level of distinction and allows collectors to further hone their collections. As part of the larger collection of Washington quarters, the 1998 quarter fits seamlessly into the puzzle of American coinage, representing the final years of a classic design before the introduction of the state quarters program that would change the face of American currency forever. As we wrap up our exploration of the 1998 United States quarter dollar, it's clear that this seemingly simple coin holds much more than its face value. From its historical context, minting process, and design, to its place in the world of coin collecting, the 1998 quarter is a valuable reminder of a specific moment in time. For collectors, it represents the end of an era, while for everyday individuals, it's a token of a simpler, more tangible past. Whether you're holding it as a collector's item or simply remembering the days when quarters were a part of everyday life, the 1998 quarter remains a cherished piece of American history.